So hello guys, I'm Gabriel Costa from Resultados Digitais, and today I'm here with Sujan Patel, one of the greatest minds when we talk about online marketing, content marketing, and growth hacking. So first of all, thanks a lot, Sujan, for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Excited to be here again.
Amazing. So could you please introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about you and your company?
Yeah, so I've been doing digital marketing for 15 years. I run a company, an agency called Web Profits, and we help other SaaS businesses primarily with marketing. And I also do the things myself. So I run another company called Ramp Ventures, and we have 7 SaaS businesses. So we do marketing and grow our own businesses the same way we do for clients. So between those two, I get a lot of different ideas, testing, and we usually do all the testing on ourselves and then apply the stuff that works for our clients. So it's a lot of fun.
Great. And you have some big customers, right?
Yeah, we work with a lot of big brands, and we work mostly with large customers that usually 100 million, 200 million plus in revenue, and we help them get their mojo back. A lot of times large companies, they have big marketing teams, a lot of red tape that they have to navigate around. We come in as independent contractors and we help them do the things that, new ideas, bring that growth hacking and short-term wins, as well as the right tactics and strategies for long-term gains.
Great.
Yeah, it's a whole lot of fun.
Great. So you were here 2 years ago, right? And what kind of change in the marketing have you seen when we talk about content marketing? What has evolved since then?
Yeah, I think the space has matured a bit more, right? Content marketing, growth hacking, those things 2 years ago were a little bit newer terms. Not everybody was familiar with it. Everyone was like, this is a new thing, a shiny ball everyone is excited about. Now I think a lot of people have realized that these are things you have to do to grow a business, and I think I see a lot more mainstream usage. Companies are actually leveraging tactics that were new and emerging a few years ago. Now it's a part of almost everyone's strategy. That being said, I think it went from being growth hacking went from being very tactical, like I got this growth hack that you're going to do to get a big gain, to implementing a growth framework or process that you can use for long-term sustainability, and thinking about it not just as a how do I get a short-term gain, but how do I apply this mentality to the company and organization.
Great. So you think it's less buzz and more reality right now, right?
I think a lot of people still have this buzzword and this like halo effect people have, but I think a lot of people are still are now implementing it properly.
So what's your advice for those people and company who are starting now a content marketing strategy? So I don't know anything, let me just first steps.
Yeah, so if you're starting in content marketing, it's 2017, you're typically going to have a lot of competitors. You're going to have a lot of people that you have to beat. And you have to figure out how to stand out through the noise, right? So I think a lot of what needs to happen now if you're starting off is focus on quality. Don't worry about creating high value. Don't worry about creating a lot of volume. Worry about creating very high volume and things that like no one has done. Think about how you can create something bigger, better than your best competitor, and that's how you can stand out.
And still related to that, do you see what are the most promising kind of content formats? For example, videos and infographics. And
videos
so on.
work really, really well. Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, big players in video, and they're all obviously YouTube's been a video platform, but Facebook, LinkedIn are really pushing video within their platform. So it's a very re-emerging format, but also like 10x content, epic content like ebooks, educational resources. Think about like ebooks and ungating them and making them HTML rich format content. Again, webinars, everything that is more than just an article. But I think what a lot of things you can do is, those companies have been around, you could take the things that have worked really well and turn that article, and I'm going to go more into this in my talk, but you could take an article and turn it into something even bigger and better.
kind of repurposing the content. So you just
Yeah,
take something and improve
I
and
would
change
say
the format. And
repurpose, but also double down.
Oh, yeah,
Take
sure.
something that works and make it much, much better. Take, like for example, I took an ebook and now we're making it into a 10-week course. And I mean, this is going to be 15 hours of content that came from a 20,000 word ebook. So think about content formats, right? And things like that. Now I have a video, I have written content. So now I have multiple places a customer can find us as well.
Great. And coming back a little bit to the video part, you started it now, I mean, some months ago, content marketing video strategy, right? So what are your biggest learnings so far?
So my biggest learning from video, so I've created about actually exactly 100 100 videos to date. And I've learned a lot. Out of all my videos, 3 videos drive 90% of the traffic from the ones I created 2 years ago and 1 year ago. So
What are the topics you covered, sorry?
One is on how to get started and how to build your career as a digital marketer. That's generated, I think, 30,000 views, something of that nature, gets lots of comments. So what I'm doing is short videos work well, under 5 minutes. 3 to 5 minutes typically work really well. I put a lot more time and research into what I'm going to talk about. It's the quality of the video, using examples and being concise. And you can actually drive people from a video to pieces of content.
Sure.
So just short, sweet, and really focusing on distribution. YouTube is great, but don't forget about Facebook and LinkedIn. Sure. I published a video on my LinkedIn and Facebook, and I did nothing else besides just publish it. And I got more views on that, each video alone within 24 hours, than the lifetime of my YouTube video.
Really?
So don't forget about more engaging, because both of those platforms are heavily pushing native content. So really, really great way. So I've got about 500,000 visitors, views to my videos now in the course of 2 years. And most of it, 3/4 of it, has come from YouTube, from Facebook and LinkedIn, and only 100,000 from YouTube.
Amazing. And for those who are not studies anymore, so I have a content strategy, I produce, and so on. What is your kind of advanced advice there?
Yeah, so if you've been doing this, you have a growth strategy, things are working. It's really about doubling down on things that work, doing the math on ideas of new channels. So for example, a lot of people, when they have things working, they're like, oh, I heard about this new channel, webinars, or like partnerships, or whatever. Do the math on what the potential of that visitor, what the traffic is going to bring in. The hypothetical, if that succeeded, let's say I do webinars, if that succeeded, how much revenue, how many customers, how many leads that going to bring to my business? And oftentimes you're going to weed out things that don't work. So it's really not just doubling down on things that work, but optimizing processes that do work.
And also have this combination of content and analytics, right? So what is working, what is not working.
Exactly, and I'm very quick to kill things that don't work. And oftentimes you'll find a company has 3 to 5 growth channels. You look at Apple, you look at the biggest companies in the world, and they really only have 1, 2, 3 channels, maybe max, right? So don't try to come up with 10. What you really need is to find your 3. And so if you have 1 or 2 right now, always be spending some time on figuring out new channels. I usually spend 20 to 30% of my time on new channels, and the rest of my time on existing channels, optimizing, looking at the data. And that may be analytics, Google Analytics. It might be looking at like predictive analytics and things that can make your lead scoring and things like that much better, and getting smarter with what you're doing. And I'm really quick to say no and kill things that don't work.
Amazing. So you advise a lot of companies, right? So what is the biggest challenge you see that companies face when they start this content marketing strategy?
The biggest challenge with content marketing is it takes a long time. You don't become an overnight success. It just doesn't happen. I think a lot of people look at content marketing, they invest in content marketing and expect a return in the short term. You don't get a return in the short term. That just doesn't work. Content marketing is a 3, 6, 9, 2-year ROI. It's compounding. I look at investment in content marketing the first year, don't expect anything in return, build up the base, build up your audience, build up your traffic, build up now your leads, and then start to measure ROI year or two. But in the short term, look at traffic. You can still see directional metrics, but I think a lot of people expect to invest in content marketing and get results. It just doesn't work. And the other big thing is also content marketing is content and marketing. A lot of people create content and they say they're doing content marketing. And so don't forget the marketing, the distribution.
Right?
That is the single biggest thing. I spend, when I'm investing in content marketing, I spend 80% of my time on the marketing part. I don't pursue an idea unless I know exactly how I'm going to market it. And even then, it's not always successful. So 80% needs to be spent on distribution and marketing.
Amazing. Yeah, this is a problem we had. So we spent much more time producing and developing the content and 10-20% only distribution.
And a lot of times what happens is you invest all this time and it's a bad idea to start with, right? So like you think it's a good idea, but you didn't spend the time researching and thinking about how you're going to promote it in the first place. And so then you just waste it.
Right?
Yeah, it's wasted. And I see too many companies do that. And another thing I see a lot of times is like people talk about themselves too much. Nobody cares about your company. You have to give them a reason to care first. Then you can introduce talking about yourself. But first start with talking about the industry, what's helpful for the audience, and then talk about yourself.
Amazing, amazing tips, Sujan. Thank you very much. I hope you come back to Florianopolis more times.
Yeah, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Thank you, guys.